Have you ever looked at something new and thought, that's not for me? Maybe you've seen a 3D printer in action and wondered, how could I ever learn to use something like that? Well, I'm here to tell you something you might not expect. Learning to use a 3D printer after 70 is easier than you think. In fact, it's not just easy, it's fun, rewarding, and can open up a whole new world of creativity. And the best part? You don't need to be a tech wizard to get started. Let me ask you this. Do you remember the first time you used a microwave or sent an email? At the time, those things might have felt intimidating, but now they're second nature. A 3D printer is no different. It's just another tool. And once you get the hang of it, you'll wonder why you didn't try it sooner. In this video, we're going to explore why 3D printing is such a great hobby for seniors and walk through 5 fun projects that are perfect for beginners. These projects are designed to be simple, practical, and most importantly, enjoyable. By the end of this series, you'll not only understand how a 3D printer works, but also have the confidence to create something amazing with it. So, let's start with the basics. What exactly is a 3D printer? At its core, a 3D printer is a machine that takes a digital design and turns it into a physical object by layering material, usually plastic, one thin slice at a time. Think of it like a hot glue gun that follows a very precise pattern. The designs can be as simple or as complex as you like, and the possibilities are endless. Now I know what you might be thinking. That sounds complicated. But here's the thing. Modern 3D printers are designed to be user-friendly. Many of them come pre-assembled, so you don't have to worry about putting together a bunch of tiny parts, and the software you use to create designs. It's often as simple as dragging and dropping shapes on a screen. Let's dive into our first project, which is perfect for getting your feet wet, creating a custom keychain. This is a great starting point because it's small, quick to print, and incredibly useful. Imagine being able to make a keychain with your name, a favorite quote, or even a tiny replica of something you love, like a flower or a pet. To get started, you'll need a design file. Don't worry, you don't have to create one from scratch. There are plenty of free websites, like Thingiverse, where you can download designs that other people have shared. Once you've chosen a design, you'll load it into the printer's software, adjust a few basic settings like the size and color, and hit print. In just a little while, you'll have a unique keychain that you made yourself. The beauty of this project is that it gives you a chance to get familiar with the printer without feeling overwhelmed. You'll learn how to load the filament, that's the plastic material the printer uses, how to start a print, and how to remove the finished object. And if something doesn't turn out perfectly the first time, that's okay. Part of the fun is experimenting and seeing what works. Now let's move on to our second project, printing a set of coasters. This is another simple but practical project that's perfect for beginners. Coasters are small, flat, and don't require a lot of intricate details, so they're ideal for getting comfortable with the printing process. You can choose a basic design, like a circle or square, or get a little creative with patterns or shapes. For example, you could print coasters with a floral design, a geometric pattern, or even something personalized, like your initials. Once they're printed, you can use them right away, or paint them to add a personal touch. This project is a great way to practice adjusting settings in the printer's software, like the thickness of the object or the speed of the print. It's also a good opportunity to experiment with different colors of filament. And when you're done, you'll have a set of coasters that you can use at home or give as a gift. By now, you're probably starting to see how accessible 3D printing can be. It's not about being perfect or knowing everything right away, it's about having fun and trying something new. And the more you practice, the more confident you'll become. So, now that we've covered these 2 projects, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. You've discovered that a 3D printer is just a tool, like any other, and that it's designed to be easy to use. You've also seen how simple and rewarding it can be to create something with your own hands, whether it's a keychain or a set of coasters. In the next part, we'll explore a couple more projects that are a little more advanced but still very doable for beginners. We'll talk about printing a phone stand and creating a custom planter for your favorite houseplant. These projects will help you build on the skills you've already started to develop and show you just how versatile a 3D printer can be. But before we move on, I want to remind you of something important. It's never too late to learn something new. Whether you're 70, 80, or beyond, you have the ability to embrace new experiences and discover new passions. So why not give 3D printing a try? You might just surprise yourself with what you can create. Now that you've dipped your toes into the world of 3D printing with those first two projects, let's take things a step further. Remember, this isn't about rushing or pushing yourself too hard. It's about enjoying the process and discovering what you're capable of. And trust me, by the time we're done with these next projects, you'll be even more excited about what you can create. Let's start with our third project, printing a phone stand. This is a fantastic project because it's both practical and a little more challenging than the keychain or coasters. A phone stand is something you can use every day, whether you're watching videos, following a recipe in the kitchen, or just keeping your phone upright on your desk. The great thing about this project is that it introduces you to designing functional objects. You'll need to think about things like stability, angles, and size to make sure your phone fits securely. But don't worry, you don't have to figure it all out on your own. There are plenty of free templates available online that you can customize to fit your phone. Once you've chosen or adjusted a design, you'll load it into the printer's software and get ready to print. This is a great opportunity to experiment with different settings, like the infill density, that's how solid the inside of the object is, or the print speed. You might find that a slower speed gives you a smoother finish, or that a higher infill makes the stand more sturdy. When your phone stand is finished, you'll have a useful item that you made yourself, and if it doesn't turn out exactly how you imagined the first time, that's okay. You can always tweak the design and try again. That's the beauty of 3D printing. It's all about learning and improving as you go. Now let's move on to our fourth project, creating a custom planter for your favorite houseplant. This is where things start to get really fun because you can let your creativity shine. Whether you have a small succulent or a larger plant, a 3D printed planter can be a beautiful and unique addition to your home. For this project, you'll need to think about the size and shape of your planter. You'll want to make sure it's big enough to hold your plant and has proper drainage holes at the bottom. But beyond that, the design is entirely up to you. You could create a simple modern planter with clean lines, or something more whimsical, like a planter shaped like a birdhouse or a teacup. If you're feeling adventurous, you can even try designing your own planter from scratch using free software like Tinkercad. It's a beginner-friendly program that lets you drag and drop shapes to create 3D models. Don't worry if it feels a little intimidating at first. There are plenty of tutorials online to guide you through the process. Once your planter is printed, you can paint it, add decorations, or leave it as is. Then all that's left to do is add your plant and enjoy the satisfaction of knowing you created something both functional and beautiful. These two projects, the phone stand and the planter, are perfect for building on the skills you've already started to develop. They introduce you to new concepts, like designing for functionality and experimenting with more complex shapes, but they're still very approachable for beginners. By now you've probably noticed that 3D printing is as much about the journey as it is about the end result. It's about trying new things, solving problems, and seeing your ideas come to life. And the more you practice, the more confident you'll become. So let's take a moment to reflect on what we've covered so far. You've learned how to print a keychain, a set of coasters, a phone stand, and a custom planter. Each project has helped you build new skills and gain a deeper understanding of how a 3D printer works. In the next part, we'll explore our final project, which is a little more advanced but still very doable for beginners. We'll talk about creating a personalized photo frame, a project that combines functionality with a touch of sentimentality. It's the perfect way to showcase your favorite memories while also challenging yourself to try something new. But before we move on, I want to remind you of something you're doing amazing. Learning something new at any age takes courage, and you've already taken the first steps. So keep going, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep having fun. We've come a long way together, haven't we? From that first moment of curiosity about 3D printing to creating keychains, coasters, phone stands, and even custom planters, you've proven that learning something new is not only possible but also incredibly rewarding. Now let's wrap things up with our final project, one that's both meaningful and a little more advanced, creating a personalized photo frame. This project is special because it combines functionality with sentimentality. Imagine being able to design and print a photo frame that perfectly fits your favorite picture, whether it's a cherished family portrait, a snapshot from a memorable vacation, or a picture of your grandchildren. It's a wonderful way to preserve your memories while also showcasing your new 3D printing skills. To get started, you'll need to decide on the size and style of your frame. Do you want something simple and elegant, or something more decorative with intricate patterns? The beauty of 3D printing is that you have complete control over the design. You can download a template from a site like Thingiverse, or if you're feeling adventurous, create your own using software like Tinkercad. When designing your frame, you'll need to consider a few key elements. First, make sure the opening in the frame matches the size of your photo. Second, think about how the frame will stand or hang. Will it have a built-in stand, or will you attach a hook to the back? These are small details, but they make a big difference in the final product. Once your design is ready, it's time to print. This project might take a bit longer than the others, depending on the size and complexity of your frame, but the wait is worth it. As the printer works its magic, layer by layer, you'll start to see your creation come to life. And when it's done, you'll have a one-of-a-kind photo frame that you made yourself. After printing, you can leave the frame as is, or add your own personal touch. You might paint it, add embellishments, or even print additional decorative elements to glue onto the frame. The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes this project so much fun. By now, you've completed 5 fantastic projects, each one building on the last and helping you grow more confident in your 3D printing skills. You've learned how to load filament, adjust settings, and troubleshoot small issues. You've discovered how to find and customize designs, and you've even dipped your toes into creating your own. Most importantly, you've seen how accessible and enjoyable 3D printing can be, no matter your age or experience level. Let's take a moment to recap what we've covered. We started with a simple keychain to get you comfortable with the basics. Then we moved on to coasters, which introduced you to adjusting settings and experimenting with colors. The phone stand challenged you to think about functionality, while the custom planter let your creativity shine. And finally, the personalized photo frame brought everything together, showing you just how versatile and meaningful 3D printing can be. But beyond the projects themselves, I hope you've discovered something even more important, that it's never too late to learn something new. Whether you're 70, 80, or beyond, you have the ability to embrace new experiences, develop new skills, and find joy in the process. 3D printing is just one example of how technology can enrich our lives, and I hope it's inspired you to keep exploring and trying new things. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Have you tried any of these projects? Do you have a favorite, or maybe an idea for something you'd like to create? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I'd love to see what you've made. And if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Remember, life is full of opportunities to learn, grow, and create. Whether it's 3D printing, painting, gardening, or something entirely different, the key is to stay curious and keep trying. Here's to living your best life at any age and to all the amazing things you'll create along the way. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, happy printing.